Seven presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police
called Egbetokun a useless IGP, and
no,
he had.
Is it not useless?
It's not allowed.
Okay, so what's your word to in terms of the justice system, seeing what played out when you were beaten and manhandled in the court?
It's not the first time they will do that. You must have seen a plethora of police attacks on me. Since 1992, some of the police who attacked me had to fight for their retirement benefits a few weeks ago. So it's to us who I know doesn't know his left from his right. I can't be banding words with the IGP, who I know is no longer in the police force. And you cannot be IGP if you are not in the police force. And they understand it. That's why they lose their mind. So I have been through about 7 presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police IGPs, and some of them I've had to help in the course of some of them I had to assist where they were even still serving. Yes. So these are not issues that bothers me a lot. Anybody who is doing what we do knows that your second vacation home is prison.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, how are you now? Okay. Say, who are you shouting? Who is that? Do I look like Yaya Bello to you? I beg, go and sit down. Go and sit down. Hey, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Yes.
I'm a police officer. Please
so what?
Come out.
I'm not coming out.
Who are you? Can I know you?
I have a business in court.
Okay, please.
No, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. You can't clear me. You are not an officer of the court.
Hello, sir.
You are an EFCC officer.
Hello, sir.
You have no business standing in front of the court.
I'm talking to you now.
So
clear,
why is he jumping at me?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Please, what can I do for
you? This
you?
is a federal high court.
Yes,
bring a court official. I'll talk to the person.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm a policeman.
Oh, you have a senior. How are you? You are not a court official. You are allowed EFCC to be flying at people in court. That's what the nonsense the DSS does here too. It's not taking it easy now. They are the ones who bring us to court. EFCC for that matter. Yes.
My people, no be small thing, no. As we are watching it, it's unfolding, and a lot is still to happen, and we are watching to see how it will end. The only thing I am advising anybody that has voice or has connection or whichever or however to stop this injustice or this evil that is happening to this nation should just do it fast, because a lot of news, if I bring out the news that I'm seeing if you listen to what is happening in this zoo country, in fact you cannot sleep over. That is, you hardly sleep in the night. It's not getting better at all. Instead, it's getting worse. If people that are supposed to do something did not do it, or if people that are like being careless continue to be this careless, this is what is waiting for every citizen of this nation. The killing of Christians in Nigeria is getting out of hand, and it's heartbreaking that those people that are supposed to speak up, like the leaders of the church, they are not saying much. And even those that came out to say something are not even like being much concerned about what has been happening, like in Plateau, Katsina, and most of places that Christians were being murdered. Instead of saying things about that, they are even like trying to convince the international body that no, it's a herdsman clash, that all these things is not a more of a, not just Christian. Yes, it's not just Christian, it's not just on Christians, but why can't you specify on that one that is very, because if they are not speaking up, they might think that nothing is happening to them. I would like you to listen to these people that have came up from the international places, speaking up on what our people supposed to be speaking up on. Thank God for them. Listen and relate on their own.
The Christian genocide in Nigeria. The violence has claimed thousands of lives this year alone, but human rights advocates say the Nigerian government has turned a blind eye.
Here with more is Daily Wire culture reporter Megan Basham. So, Megan, for people who haven't been following this story, can you summarize what's been happening to Christians in Nigeria?
Yeah, so it's devastating, Georgia. The numbers, as many as 7,000 Christians killed since the beginning of this year alone, in Nigeria alone. And in some cases, advocacy groups are saying as a result of these Islamic attacks, some Christian villages and communities are being entirely burned to the ground. Now, this has been going on somewhat for the last decade, and it's kind of flown under the radar. The U.S. government has not paid much attention. We're starting to see that change now. In particular, Senator Cruz and Representative Nancy Mace are calling for Nigeria to be reclassified as a country of particular concern for religious persecution.
Many in the media share the same woke mindset that they will not call out radical Islamic terrorism for what it is, especially when it's Christians who are the victims. And so it takes the rest of us to highlight this needs to end.
I also spoke with Judd Saul, who is the founder of Equipping the Persecuted. That's a group on the ground in Nigeria that's trying to minister to these Christians that are being persecuted and attacked. And he said that this crisis has been building for a decade as more and more Muslims and Islamic groups are moving into Nigeria and into these Christian areas.
But what they have done is they move in, they populate, and once they gain population, they start taking political control. And once they gain political control, the killing starts.
And what I really want to emphasize for you, Georgia, is that so often the Christians that are being killed here are the elderly, they're women, they're children, essentially people who are unable to easily flee when they know that the violence is coming.
So if this violence has been so widespread and it's been going on for years, why have we not heard more about it from the mainstream press?
Yeah, that's one of Judd Saul's biggest frustrations. He says that the Nigerian government essentially controls what gets reported, and Western outlets too often will repeat the official denials of the government without getting out on the ground to record or document what's happening there themselves.
The mainstream media never shows up to Nigeria. What they do is they take the Nigerian government's word for it. Every time there's an attack, every time Christians are killed, it's always these unknown gunmen. It's always these bandits.
But now what's happening is footage is emerging of burned churches, mass graves, displaced families living in tarps or under tents where they have no food, water, or medicine.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the U.S. government is starting to take notice. What kind of response are we seeing?
Well, one major effort that we're seeing from Senator Ted Cruz is the Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. He introduced that just this month. And what it will do is impose sanctions on Nigerian officials who are accused of facilitating violence against Christians or any other religious minorities.
We also have 12 states in Nigeria and the federal government in Nigeria that have in place blasphemy laws and Sharia laws. And those blasphemy and Sharia laws are a tool that is frequently used to oppress Christians as well.
And what about the Nigerian government? Are they responding in any way?
Yeah, the Nigerian government is continuing to deny that these killings are the result of religious persecution. What they say is that this violence is simply clashes between herders and farmers. But a lot of international watchdog groups are simply saying that that is a false narrative. Saul says that the Nigerian military has repeatedly failed to respond to advance warnings of attacks. So it's because of this kind of inaction that many Nigerian Christians are now looking to the U.S. government, hoping that America's influence on the international stage will turn a spotlight on what they've been experiencing.
Well, an extremely troubling story. I'm glad we're covering it. Megan, thanks for reporting.
Yes, thank you.
And B, for whatever reason, Islamic terrorism is just not covered. And when you look closely, 22 Islamic terrorist groups, including Boko Haram and others, have safe haven and have a safe quarter in Nigeria. Now, here's a little news. I was told this last week. There is a group of Nigerian legislators coming to Washington this week trying to petition the Trump administration and Congress from designating their country as a one of particular concern. They don't want this, but they're doing nothing to protect the Christian population there and to stop these radical Islamic groups from just laying waste to people on the other side of the religious divide from them. But I've spoken to Christian leaders there for decades. They will tell you they are very much afeared that Nigeria is going to turn into what Egypt and Constantinople became, which, remember, was a majority Christian country that over time you had an Islamic destruction of the faith. And that's what's happening in Nigeria in real time. We've got to do something here, at least put sanctions on this government.
What's remarkable, I couldn't agree with you more, and what's remarkable is, despite this persecution, the number of conversions and the faith of the African church is something that's so inspirational. So we appreciate you joining us on this story. It's so important.
Thanks, Raymond.
Happy to
Thank
do
you,
it.
Raymond.
It's really important. Thank you all for covering it.